Yet another Friday we meet on the Y254 News Highlights. My name is Abdulrazak Ngutia. Remember, you can always comment on the news stories. You can give us your suggestions on 22162. You can also start with it what news. Remember to do that. You can also find us on Twitter at Y Channel, at Y News Updates. My name is Abdulrazak Ngutia, and later on we're going to talk about sports. But first, let's begin with the exam story. All public schools will be closed by 25th of next month, a day before Kenyans go to the fresh presidential poll following the decision by the IEBC to revise the date from October 17th to October 26th. In its revised new dates, the Education Ministry says primary schools will be closed on 25th of next month, while secondary schools close on 24th of the same month, while maintaining that upcoming KCPE and KCSE examinations will go on as planned. Education Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i said the only affected examination is KCSE Home Science Practical that has now been pushed to October 30th from October 26th. Rehearsals for KCPE candidates are slated for October 30th, a day before the three-day KCPE exams commence the next day.
Timetable will not change. I need to emphasize that. The examination timetable will not change. First of all, the IEBC, we like dealing in a formal way. The IEBC has not communicated to us anything different from the fact that the elections will be held on the 17th of October. When the Supreme Court ruled that we would have another election, we immediately notified and appraised IEBC of our specific and unique circumstances because of the national exams. Then they made the announcement. They have not come back to us to tell us that they have made any particular change, as it were. But you know, we are proactive. We have to always plan with a measure of consciousness of the environment in which we are working. And I want to assure everyone that we have asked ourselves and answered the question, should the election date change? We are ready to conduct exams. Our timetable will not change. We are ready to conduct exams. That's why we spent quite some time here looking at several parameters and several things that we need to do. So I do not want to put the cart before the horse. You know, we don't conduct elections. We'll wait for the IBC to tell us if there's any change. So far, the date that has been gazetted is 17th of October. We'll work with that date. But in the event that they make a change, we are ready. And this is something we take time to plan.
Examinations and school programs should not be politicized. Absolutely. For any nation, children come first. Children come first, and we've looked at the processes that the Kenya National Examination Council has put in place in the ministry so that examinations can be conducted, and we are absolutely satisfied.
We are ready to conduct exams. Totally ready. We have been preparing on this, and frankly, we are better prepared this year than we were last year.
The residents of Kapsabet town woke up to sad news yesterday after a three-story building which was still under construction collapsed. Locals in the area, however, claimed the building, whose construction began 4 months ago, had been condemned by the National Construction Authority.
Over 41 people who had been trapped in the building which collapsed earlier yesterday in Kapsabet town, Nandi County, have now been rescued. 36 people were treated in the Kapsabet hospital and have soon been discharged, while 2 are still undergoing treatment. However, the 3 remaining who had been critically injured by the collapse were taken to Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital for further treatment. Moreover, locals in the area claim the building, whose construction began 4 months ago, had been condemned by the National Construction Authority, and the cause of the collapse is still yet to be established. Reporting for Y254 News, my name is Doreen Arange.
Well, quite a sad story. You see there of a collapsed building. I hope in the near future constructors will remember how they're supposed to construct the buildings. Well, remember, you can always contact us on 22162. Send us your comments starting with the word news. You can also tweet us, and you can follow me on Twitter at Abdurazaking. Well, we're moving on to sports, and Harambee Starlets were bowed out of COSAFA Women's Championship match after being beaten 4-0 by defending champions and hosts Zimbabwe in the semi-finals and at the Boberfield Stadium in Bulawayo. Goals from Rutendo Makero, Berita Kabwe, Marjorie Nyaumwe and Privilege Mupeti saw the champions book their place in Saturday's final, where they will come up against three-time winners South Africa. Wow.
0 to host holder Zimbabwe in the semi-final. This was Kenya's first defeat in the tournament, as heavy as it came, while Zimbabwe booked their third COSAFA final against South Africa. Harambee Starlets could not break a physically fit and tactical Zimbabwe side in one of their toughest match in the recent times. Kenya found themselves chasing the shadow just 11 minutes from the whistle when Zimbabwe took the lead through PC forward Rutendo Makore. Makore, who took part in the last Olympic Games with the Mighty Warriors, powered her 9th goal of the tournament past Paulina Cheno with a right foot shot after picking a pass inside the box before the host doubled the lead with a minute to the break from another defensive error. Kenyan defense was a bit disjointed in the first half and found it hard taming the 24-year-old Makore, who posed great danger whenever she had the ball. Kenya's midfield did not make things better either when they allowed Zimbabwe to pile pressure on after capitalizing on Shikobe's poor clearance from header to give the host a 2-goal advantage into the break. Zimbabwe picked from where they left when Majority Nyamuya put things beyond reach for Kenya 8 minutes after the break with the Mighty Warriors' third goal. Zimbabwe made it 4 in the 91st minute to crush Kenya's hopes for booking their maiden COSAFA final in fashionable style. Kenya will now play Zambia in the second and third playoffs as Zimbabwe squares it out against South Africa in a repeat of 2011 final. For Y254 Sports News, my name is Dereva Hilary.
Well, that's the story that we have of Harambee Starlets. Before we go on into our day's discussion, I'd like you to remember that you can always find us on social media. That's on Twitter at Y254 Updates. And you can also text us on 22162. That's 22162. Remember to start with the word news. You can also find me on Twitter at Abdurazaking. Now, let's go on to the discussion. Well, we're yet at the discussion, and I have a set of great panelists here ready to discuss matters. And I remember we had Frank on the other time when he was talking about Chelsea, predicting how Chelsea and Arsenal were going to go. I believe he takes it as a victory, even though it was a 0-0. And we have Emmanuel here, and we have OSORO Roberts. Oh, wearing Arsenal. You're lucky they never played the other time. So we're going to start off with Harambee Starlets. A brief comment on their loss in the semi-finals. What do you feel about them going as far as they have in the tournament?
I think Harambee Starlets have a problem because they do not have supporting structures. Like if you find other teams, like for example in other countries, you'll find that there are women leagues that support, that fill up the national team.
Yeah.
Like you go to England, we have those clubs, and each club has a team member that fills into the national team. But in Harambee Stars, you'll just find that these are like, mostly you'll find that they are primary school students who go to secondary school, play football, then they in one way or the another find themselves up there. So I think if they have that supporting structure, it might change the way they are playing it. It might also help them play better, much better.
Good. So you think there is also that factor of not really being trained, or what exactly are you suggesting?
Let's take a look at something like volleyball. For example, we have Kenya Prisons, which has a team. We have GSU. We have Poster. Like these teams, they will train their players, and when they collectively gather them for the national team, you'll find that these players will play much better in the national team, and we can even be able to win something. We have gone ahead and won some of the local African titles because they have better supporting structures. We have like local teams, local clubs, which can also empower the national team. But in football, we don't have that real supporting structure. That's only in my own opinion.
In your own opinion, perhaps, Robert, you can tell me what exactly do you think they need to increase or they need to add on to their performances ili next time wanapoenda kucheza wasikuje kupata such results? Although I've heard from your sentiments, you think they've tried.
Yeah, very much. I agree with Emmanuel on what he has said, because it is the first time that Kenya is having a very good starlets team.
Yeah.
And we were at the Africa Cup of Nations recently. It was the first time Kenya was taking a ladies team to the Africa Cup of Nations, and they did their best. Now, in COSAFA, this was a guest team. Kenya is not in the COSAFA region. Kenya is a SECAFA team. So they were invited to the COSAFA region. And then going on to COSAFA, they performed well. They defeated Mozambique 5-2 in the first game, went ahead to defeat Mauritius 11-0 in the second game. They were top in their Group B standings. Now, in the semi-finals, they met a champion in Africa.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe is no walk in the park. This is an Olympics team. They were the Olympics coming to play in the COSAFA tournament. So Kenya lost 4-0, yes, but the strides they make in COSAFA are very much good for everybody else. And every time is all about learning. And when Richard Kanye, the coach of the Starlets, was speaking today, he was like, we just lost our concentration in that game. But so far, I think our target was reached. And tomorrow they will be playing Zambia in the third round for the bronze. So we are hoping that they can beat Zambia and bring that medal home.
So why is it that this Starlets team, it has been existing for a long time? This one to any one of you, perhaps Frank, you can pick it up. They've existed for a very long time, but they have not managed to go to the Olympics. What do you think could be the reason then? You know,
first of all, kwanza ningependa kushukuru Starlets. I think wame the country proud kufika stage walifika. Juu hakuna mtu alikuwa na expect kufika hapo. Then I think shida moja na hiyo women's team, I think, ni structures. We need to put structures zinaweza saidia hao mabinti kufika tops. Ukipata venye Manop amesema, unapata team kama maybe England Women's, unaona ligi yao wamejiestablish pa, unapata kuna leagues like kila mchezaji mwenye ako national team unapata anacheza team moja kwa league, nayo team iko poa. But sasa hapa Kenya, I think hatuja adopt system kama hiyo. Unapata tukifika kwa tunaelekea competition, unapata tunaokota tu mmoja, then unapata na trend siku kadhaa na tunaenda tuona which I think in a sana results.
And remember, most of the players for Starlets are high school students. They are not actually professional players, and our football in Kenya at large is not professional, it's actually amateur. So when you look at those kids like Mary Kinu, they are Form 3, others, their kid has finished Form 4 the other day. So, and what these guys are saying is true, because our women's league is not that tough. Yeah, we don't have a professional women's league in Kenya, or if not that professional, they will come into the level of the men's league, because when you defeat a country 11-0, you can actually ask yourself, if Starlets beats Mauritius 11-0, how bad is Mauritius?
that's like a walk in the park.
How bad?
Taking words that were mentioned by, I'm not going to mention which team because they're really going to feel bad. Is there anyone here who's a Manchester United fan?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. I'm still going to say it. Lukaku said that it was just a bit of a banter when they defeated Manchester United. Well then, we're still going on with our stories and relating this to the main factor that has been here, an issue of women empowerment. We have a story here on England, where the coach is being replaced by a woman. That's in our women's team, but that's coming up shortly. Now, moving on swiftly, still on the local sports stories, we have AFC Leopards coach Robert Matano, who is optimistic about top 8 finish in the Kenyan Premier League and is still realistic ambition for the club. Leopards have been blowing hot and cold this season, but the Lion, a strict disciplinarian, seems to be slowly steadying the ship since taking over on an interim capacity from Romanian Dorian Marin, who lasted barely 2 weeks after succeeding Stuart Hall. Well, that story we're still going to discuss, but remember you can always find us on our SMS line. We never switch off our lines. Quite literally, you can find us on 22162, and remember to start with the word news. You can also find us on Twitter, that's at Y254 Updates. Well, we're going to the discussion, and this is exactly what we've got for you with a panel that is quite vibrant tonight. Number 8, and they're very hopeful. What do you think?
I know it's your team.
I think
Yeah.
FC number 8 kufika number 8 si ngumu. Unapata sasa tuko number 11 na tofauti yetu na number 8 ni only 6 points. But sasa then FC under Robert Matano tumekuwa okay, hatujakuwa tukislump sana before under coach alikuwa
Dorian Marin.
So I think number 8 tutafika number 8. But then pia unaona games tuko nazo, games tumbaki nazo, tuko na Madare tuwa na pet relegation, na from ya Madare imekuwa poa sana, mkoa tuwin juzi ndo amepigwa. Then pia bado tuko na Sopapaka from yao ni poa sana.
Yeah.
Then tuko na Posta. Hizi games tatu si rahisi, na tukiweza toka hapo na point 7 itatusaidia sana.
So wewe unazungumza ukiangalia the future perspective, si vile wamecheza hivi sasa.
Vile wamecheza sasa,
No.
FC under Matano wamekuwa kiperform better. So wakiendelea na hiyo form, I think hata number 8 sasa tunaweza maliza hata number 7.
Unajua Matano is a tough coach, is the lion. That's how we call him in our circles. Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to a team, he gives you stability. I'm not going to lie about that. When Matano comes to a team, he gives you stability. He's a disciplinarian, a tough guy to work with. Now, he has already known that going for the home run, chasing Gor Mahia for the number 1 position is a tough venture for us. So it's going to be tough for us going for Gor Mahia, and that a realistic target for us is the top 8. So we can build for this season, get into the top 8, so start building from there. He's not been in the job for I think 3 months now since he came in. He has managed like 8 matches, he has won 4, drawn some and lost some. The number 8 position for FC Leopards is realistic with I think 8-9 matches to go. Is realistic for FC Leopards to get there, because now they know they have been off the game for that long, and it's chasing the number 8 position because he wants to get into the top 8 competition, but also it's chasing the Go TV, which is he is in the semi-finals with FC Leopards. Now, if he wins the Go TV, he's taking FC Leopards to the Confederations Cup. He gets to the top 8, is in the top 8 competition and fighting with the creme de la creme of Kenyan football, which mumeata for a very long time.
With all this optimism, yeah.
Maybe I will just add one thing. I think Matano decided to say that because in next season, because of the ruling that was made just the other day, about like 6 teams will be relegated. So I think he's just trying to tell people that okay, we were not able
but we're not going to get relegated.
We're not going to get relegated. So just hang on. We are making the steps.
I see. Ni kama kauli za kupanguzia machozi.
The ruling that was made, like if you look at the ruling critically, the ruling that was made, FC Leopards is not going to suffer that much, because FC lost to some of these teams like Zoo, Nakmat, So FC Leopards is actually one of the teams that are going to gain from the ruling. A team like Thika is going to lose because they are going back to the relegation zone if that happens. Gor Mahia is going to lose a total of 9 points. Kakamega Homeboyz will be pushing to the top half of the table. They're coming to number 3, the likes of Moroni. But for FC Leopards now, according to the ruling, they're just a mid-table team, and now for the top 8, they can get there actually.
Let's talk about this Gor Mahia dream. It seems to be a long shot. What do you think about the strategy? Why do you think it's a long shot for Matano to take his team all the way to think about Gor Mahia as of now?
Man, it's tough. It's tough. Look at the Gor Mahia machine at the moment. They haven't lost any game since they came back from Dar es Salaam playing against Everton. And they are pushing on their games. They only had a draw against Thika United last weekend. And didn't care. The Gor Mahia tactician has put it on to them. He has given them amount of confidence that they are not going to match. Most of the Gor Mahia players have played like 5 years together now. The likes of Walusimbi, Wendo, Boniface Oluoch. Those guys have been together for like 5 years. That's an engine you don't want to go against. Considering FC Leopards have a new engine which has not been tested yet. And FC Leopards, you let Katerega go on loan back to his homeland, KCCA.
Okay, thanks very much for your comments there. We're moving now to the international scene. That's where talking about Chelsea's Diego Costa. Well, Chelsea has agreed terms with Atletico Madrid for the transfer of striker Diego Costa back to the Spanish club. The move, which will be completed in January, is subject to the agreement of personal terms and medical condition.
Who left the club to join Chelsea in 2014 would have a medical in the next few days. Spain international player Costa has not played for the Blues this season and spent much of August in his native Brazil. He cannot be registered as a player for the La Liga outfit until January, when the club's transfer window ban comes to an end. The two teams play each other next Wednesday in the Champions League. Brazil-born Costa joined Chelsea from Atletico for a reported $32 million 3 years ago. He scored 58 goals in 120 appearances for the Blues, including 20 in the Premier League last season as Chelsea won the title. His position in the team had also been placed under threat by the arrival of striker Alvaro Morata from Real Madrid during the last transfer window. Problems between Costa and Chelsea surfaced earlier in the year when he was left out of the Chelsea side for an away match at Leicester.
Well, that's quite a development that we're seeing in the team of Chelsea. Perhaps someone here could... No. Yeah. Okay, we're going straight to the EPL structures, to the EPL fixtures. That tomorrow we're going to have West Ham United versus Tottenham Hotspurs. That's that's half an hour past noon, and we also have Burnley versus Huddersfield Town. I'm looking for a big team here, Everton. Perhaps you, Robert Osoro. Everton is going against Bournemouth. Perhaps you can shed some light on your anticipations concerning this game. We know that they lost to Atalanta, and we also know they lost to Manchester United. It was quite about return for Rooney to Old Trafford. What do you think is going to be their performance this time in Bournemouth?
Well, the biggest conversation when it comes to Everton has been they have got the same squad in terms of spending as Bayern Munich at the moment. Ronald Koeman went to the market to get players who can help him push his team to a higher ground. Now it has happened like Joao Ramos happened for Tottenham. You come and buy players, it doesn't work out for you because now he's actually number 19. Now, all the question is, how do you fight yourself to get out of that position? Because he's in the Europa League. He has already fumbled one game, losing to Atlanta. He is in the league system currently. He lost to Chelsea, lost to Manchester United. He's at number 12. You've got to recover. Against FC Bournemouth, this is a mid-table team. They won their match last week, but they're also in the relegation zone. So it's a tug of war. And Everton might go with this one because they need that motivation. They need those points. You need a win at the start of the league because we have just played, I think, 4 or 5 matches so far in the league, and they have started being shaped. The league has started shaping up You've got two Manchesters at the front. You've got Newcastle coming in this time round at the top half of the table. They have been there. Now Everton, which is actually went for the Europa League for I think the first and second time now, they need to come back to their position. And if they don't, then they might not get that chance.
Now, briefly, what do you think, Emmanuel, is their motivation factor for Everton against Bournemouth?
They will be motivated by the fact that Bournemouth also has had mixed results. They should be motivated because they need to win something, because that will reduce the pressure from the team, because Everton is still a capable team. They have signed people like Sigurdsson. They have talent. If they decide to use their players well, it will work for them. But I know Manchester United versus Everton was somehow maybe an emotional fixture, because Rooney was playing there. They were facing Lukaku, who was once one of their stars. So and even if you see the game, they had just some momentary lapses in their judgment and in their defending, and that's how they lost. But you could still see they were trying to create chances. Even if they were not scoring, you could see the chances being created. So I believe maybe because of the kind of team they have right now, it's what is making them, they will gel over time.
Considering also they have actually lost to big teams, like you've got your first 5 matches, you're playing against Man City, you lose 2-0, you're going to Chelsea, you lose, you're meeting Manchester United. That's really tough for a team like Everton. Tottenham again. So look at those, that's like you have got top 4 teams all against Everton.
Okay, thank you very much. There are so many comments to go by and so many things that can be said tonight, but time is unfortunately not on our side. So we're expecting tomorrow to have Manchester United against Southampton. We expect Chelsea versus Stoke City, Swansea City versus Watford, and Leicester versus Liverpool. And just a sneak peek into the next week, of course, we have a very long fixture, but we have Arsenal on Monday, the 25th of September, playing against West Bromwich Albion. My eyes are on you two guys. Let's see how they're going to perform. And thank you very much for joining me on the Y254 News Updates. This has been our sports commentary, and until next Friday, remember, you can always reach us and continue the conversation on 22162, starting with the word news, and also find us on Twitter, that is at Y254 Updates. Or you can also hit me up on my personal handle, and we can talk about all the fixtures all through at Abdurazaking. Well, thanks to my panel and the camera operators and everyone in the studio. My name is Abdurazaking Gutia, and have a good night.